Intro, cinematic tone. There's a quiet kind of fear that a lot of men never talk about. It's an unspoken dread. It's not fear of failure. It's not fear of pain. It's something far more insidious. It's the fear of women, not in the literal sense like monsters in the dark, but in a profound emotional way. It's the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment, the gnawing fear of not being enough. In a world that constantly expects men to be confident, successful, and emotionally stable, many are quietly collapsing under the immense weight of those expectations. This Halloween, I wanted to talk about something scarier than any costume you could imagine. It's the emotional reality of being a man in 2025, a reality that's often hidden. Because the truth is, a lot of men aren't okay, and maybe, just maybe, it's time we start asking why. 1. The unspoken fear. Let's be honest, most men are taught early on that vulnerability is a weakness. You're told not to cry. You're told not to overthink. You're certainly not supposed to admit you're lonely. There's a constant tightrope walk. You're told to be nice, but never too nice. Be confident, but avoid arrogance. Make money, but never talk about money. It's like navigating a minefield with no clear map. So when a man gets hurt, when he's rejected, laughed at, or simply ignored, he rarely tells anyone. He swallows that pain. He turns it into silence, or even worse, into a deep-seated shame. Over time, that silence grows into something darker. A quiet resentment begins to simmer. It fosters a profound fear of intimacy, a belief that love itself is dangerous, a force that could completely destroy him if he dares to let it in. 2. The internet as therapy. Since men often can't cry in public, they often cry online. You'll find them in Reddit threads, anonymous forums, digital confession booths where identities are hidden. There, you'll see everything. Raw heartbreak, profound loneliness, simmering anger, and deep confusion. Men writing about how they can't even talk to women, how every single rejection feels like a confirmation that they are fundamentally broken, how love feels like something reserved only for someone better, someone more worthy. And yes, some of it is dark. Some of it is undeniably unhealthy. It's a raw outpouring. But underneath all the memes, the bravado, and the chaos, there's a simple, undeniable truth. Men are in pain. Not because they hate women, as some might assume, but because they genuinely don't know how to connect with them anymore. 3. What fear of women really means. When men say, "I'm afraid of women," they're not talking about physical fear. They're talking about the immense emotional risk involved, the vulnerability required. Because being truly close to someone means allowing yourself to be seen, fully, completely seen. And being seen means risking rejection, risking shame, and risking complete exposure of your deepest self. Imagine being told your entire life that your worth depends on your strength, your unyielding resolve. Then you meet someone who can see right through that carefully constructed armor. It's absolutely terrifying. So instead of being vulnerable, men often hide. They hide behind humor, behind relentless work, or behind emotional detachment. They tell themselves they don't care, when in reality they care far too much. It's a defense mechanism. 4. The loneliness epidemic. Psychologists are calling it a crisis, a silent epidemic. Male loneliness. Studies consistently show that men today have fewer close friends than ever before in recent history. Many can't name a single person they would genuinely confide in during an emotional crisis. A truly heartbreaking statistic. It's not because they don't want connection. Far from it. It's because they were simply never taught how to build it. Every boy who was told, "Don't cry," grew into a man who doesn't know how to ask for help when he desperately needs it. Every man who was mocked or ridiculed for rejection learned a harsh lesson. It's safer to stay silent than to try again. And over time, that initial silence becomes profound isolation, a wall built around the heart. That isolation, in turn, becomes a quiet resentment, a bitterness towards a world that feels unyielding. And that resentment ultimately becomes fear, not just of women, but of intimacy itself, the very thing they crave. 5. The porn and parasocial trap. When genuine connection feels too dangerous, too risky, men start looking for it elsewhere. They turn to screens, to elaborate fantasies, to AI girlfriends, to OnlyFans subscriptions, to parasocial crushes. These digital connections feel safe precisely because they can never truly reject you. There's no real stakes. It's not just about lust, it's also about control. You can't get hurt by someone who doesn't actually exist. But here's the profound paradox. The more you replace real, messy intimacy with fantasy, the more disconnected you become from reality. Your emotional muscles for real connection begin to atrophy. You lose touch. And then, even when genuine love does show up in your life, you might find you can't receive it. Because your brain has simply forgotten what genuine affection, real warmth, truly feels like. 6. What women don't see. If you're a woman watching this, here's a truth most men will never, ever tell you directly. They are absolutely terrified of being humiliated by you. It's a deep-seated fear. Not because of simple pride, though that plays a part, but because they intrinsically associate rejection with ultimate failure. When a man works up the immense courage to talk to you, he's not just risking a bit of embarrassment. He's risking confirmation of every single fear he's ever had about himself. His deepest insecurities. That he's unattractive, that he's unworthy, that he will ultimately die unseen, unloved. And while not every man handles that pain gracefully or even well, it helps to remember this truth. Underneath the awkwardness, the bravado, or even the silence, there's usually just someone who desperately wants to feel understood. 7. Healing the fear. So how do we begin to fix this? How do we help men stop fearing women and start reconnecting authentically? It starts with emotional literacy, teaching boys that feelings aren't weaknesses, they're vital data points. That crying isn't shameful, it's a profoundly human response. It's a sign of life. It starts with building friendships that allow for genuine honesty, not just surface-level humor. It starts with women who listen with deep empathy, not with judgment or mockery, creating a safe space. And it starts with men who stop competing with women and instead begin learning from them, recognizing their value. Because fear fades when understanding grows. And the truth is, men don't need to be less afraid of women, they need to feel safe with them.